Hi, Deborah Roth here, back after, wow, probably about 3 weeks since I've done an Inner Goddess Team video. And it's just lots going on, lots of fun stuff going on. But I love doing these and love finding goddesses, goddess archetypes that really kind of either fit with the season or the energy of, or actually have a festival day. And the one that I was actually going to do her last month, the one that I've chosen for today is the Greek goddess of justice, innocence, a whole bunch of things, and I'll outline it all for you in a minute. And she was a biggie, Astraea. And the reason that I almost did her a month ago is that part of her mythology is that when she ascended under somewhat sad circumstances, at least for us humans, when she ascended to the heavens, she became, either Zeus did it or she did it herself, she became the constellation Virgo. However, one of her symbols is the scales, you know, the balance scales like we typically see for Libra. So she also has some substantial Libran energy, especially since she is about justice and very Libran-oriented symbol and theme. So, Astraea, she is, there weren't lots of myths about her, except maybe her most important one, which is how she, under the circumstances that she ascended to heaven. And she was, there are a couple different variations. She was considered to be the daughter of either Zeus and Themis, or else, let's see, she was the daughter of Eos, who was the goddess of the dawn, and Astraeus, who was the god of dusk, and he was like one of the second generation Titans, and thought to be a sister of Dike, also connected with Justitia, and I will talk about both of them actually next month, because they were also, their themes also have to do with justice. But I just think there's so much about her that is about balance and harmony. More specifically for her, she's purity and innocence. She was quite beloved of the goddesses. And her story, her biggest myth, excuse me, is that she was, when the gods were, were most prevalent on Earth, it was considered the golden age, and humans lived in harmony, and they were, they brought all of the, their gifts and their offerings to the gods and goddesses. And then there was a point, and Astraea lived among the humans during this golden age. She would go back and forth when peace and virtue and harmony were at a height, where they were at the height. And then, big surprise, as humanity descended into greed and violence and warfare, the gods withdrew from the earth. And Astraea was actually the last one. She hung out the longest. She loved humans so much that she wanted them to, she wanted to be a part of them for as long as she could. Some versions of her legend say that she left during the Bronze Age, when humans became hardened by war. And other versions say that she hung out until the final Iron Age, where they made all those iron weapons and things. And either way, she was one of the last to stick by the side of humans. And it was so she really lasted until things were so bad, so unfixable, that she fled and she never came back. She's considered the celestial virgin of justice with moral purity. And her departure was seen as the end of morality and of an ideal world. And at the same time, one of the things that the ancient Greeks, as well as many civilizations after her, believed that the goddess, that Astraea, this goddess of innocence, will return to the earth someday. And when she does, that she'll usher in a new golden age for humanity. So, lovely thought. What else can I tell you about her? She's typically depicted as a young woman holding scales. Those are those scales. But also a sword, the sword of justice. Because as much as she was considered a virgin, and remember, the ancient meaning for virgin was woman who is one unto herself. It didn't necessarily mean that it meant that she was independent and marched to her own drummer, so to speak, not necessarily that she was celibate. So so for all of her association with purity, with innocence, precision and order, and interestingly, divine retribution. I guess her ascending to heaven was also kind of a punishment for humans for degrading so far as they did. Her name actually means star goddess or star maiden, and apparently her name, Astraea, is found all over. I mean, they've named battleships, they've named companies, and literature talks about her a lot. Her name is in a lot of different places. And I guess I've heard of her, but it was really interesting to learn about her, just how prevalent and how beloved she was in those early golden years. She's sometimes shown with wings. She represents, and I just think this is beautiful, she represents the hope for a return to moral order, the dream of justice restored. And in literature, she's also often a symbol of lost innocence. So with all of that, you can call on her when injustice is swirling around you, and she offers the chance, the opportunity for truth and equity to come to the forefront. She inspires people to seek for truth and to look for fairness in their personal lives, in their relationships, in their communities. She also is the one to call on when you need to stand in integrity and uphold moral values in the face of corruption and dishonesty. Could be very prevalent right now, I would think. She'd be a great one to call on. And offering hope in dark times, which I think is so sweet. She's considered like a guiding light for anyone that's seeking truth and wisdom. Who she is in the heavens, her celestial role, is really a symbol of purity and innocence, and also an inspiration for people who really want to live a spiritual life with those qualities. And I found a couple different beautiful websites that talked about her. One in particular by a PhD historian, storyteller, Deanna Riddick. And I'm gonna share this beautiful quote with her that was from her site. And I always put my references on the description of the YouTube channel, which will go up, which usually goes live on Thursdays. When we act with courage, when we protect the vulnerable, when we speak truth in a world that silences it, we walk in her footsteps. May we live in such a way that Astraea does not remain a memory of what was, but rather a promise of what can be. Isn't that beautiful? And I feel compelled to sing a chant, even though I don't know any chants for Astraea, but if you've watched my videos, that I think all of these goddesses all over the world, all these archetypes that can be so meaningful for us nowadays, that they're all connected with this divinely feminine energy. And so I love to kind of mix traditions and mix cultures. And I thought a beautiful one might be to do one of the Sanskrit chants, which has to do with removing negativity in yourself and in the space around you, because that was certainly what Shining Star, what Maiden Star Astraea was all about. And that goes like this. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 A simple, sweet, short one. Oh, Kathy, I'm ready for some divine retribution. Yes, my dear. Thanks so much for joining me, and you can look for more details. I always put a little bit, on the Facebook little description, but there's always much more on the YouTube description when that goes up on Thursday night. Thanks for being with me, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.